log and mill and set up a mill right there, then they would be,
It'd be exempt.
yeah.
No, with all due respect, with Mr. Arrows up or whatever it is,
Yeah.
I'll look more at length at for the next meeting, because if Mr. Eady's correct, we'll make sure he complies. We don't follow, like Judge Bell once told me years ago, we follow the law, we don't deviate from it.
That's
Okay?
fine, that's what we're gonna do.
Ed,
That name on there, is that what they put on their bond, is Valley View Logging?
Yeah, that's what it says here, sir. It says Valley View Logging, DBA, and it has address of 52915 Batesville Road, Quaker City, Ohio.
So,
Because the card I got said Miller Logging, so.
all the Amish names.
Yeah.
that's his name.
They make great furniture.
Valley View, that's what I'm-
Yeah, since we're gonna argue about this, I have a question. How come logging isn't considered agriculture?
It is. Forestry's, or timber's a
But-
crop.
Yeah.
It is.
But he tells
But-
that he's making a profit.
But the way it was read to me was, the way when I asked, it would have to be designated a tree farm. And that, you know what I'm saying, it's not a continuing crop, they're not producing it on a regular
It's
basis.
just a slow
in
growing,
commerce.
continuing crop.
Yeah.
It's a
He's
renewable
also in
resource.
commerce. He's
It's
also
the
in
idea of
commerce.
commerce
Yeah.
is what makes the difference with
Oh,
that.
so it's like the campgrounds. If somebody's making money, we want some.
But that, the
Okay.
state designates that,
We're on
not
the-
us.
That's not up to us, Ed, I'm
No.
just telling you what I read.
Okay, I'm just trying to get my,
No, I'm with you, but I'm
the
just saying,
question, hey, Ed, the question I have though is from what Dave said.
yeah.
If he's throwing all his logs in the ditch and we get a big storm and it floods all over the road and washes out, what do you do then?
That's the reason why your people, whoever your, some places what we do, we also have loggers do timber harvesting practices. Okay, that way you know what they're gonna plan, so that way you know what they're going to do. We don't do that here. That's something maybe we can consider down the road, but right now, as far as I'm concerned, you can approve the agreement, and I think what you do is you have your police or your road crew.
It's the road crew, the police have asked not to do it. We need to have, our permit is different from our heavy hauling permit. The contract and the permit are at odds with each other. They don't say the same thing.
I haven't seen it yet, I haven't.
Yeah, that's
It's an
one of the
issue.
things that I've been working on, trying to get a readable copy that you can,
All right,
you can go
we'll take a
over.
look at for next meeting.
And the other, my other question I have, what does the permit actually give them the right to do?
put it on their truck and use the road to haul the load out.
So going from what Dave said,
Gives them permission to use
if
the
they,
road to haul.
if they filled
Yes.
if they filled the ditch along the road full of their logs, and if you don't give them that permit, they can't come get them?
Well, where they're at, I don't see how, they're gonna block the road to load them. Cause it's right there on the bend where Babbitt's used to live.
Well, that's a safety hazard.
I don't think under any circumstances we should allow a log
Not that I
out
would
in our
agree with that,
road
no.
ditch.
Yeah, that's a separate
Yeah,
issue.
that's
But that's a
whole
separate
separate-
issue.
That's-
That doesn't have anything
That has
to do
nothing
with.
to do with that, we shouldn't allow that at all.
No, but,
I mean, the
Yeah, I mean,
road and the police ought to be
I-
taking care of that.
Right.
I'm not trying
Somebody should have called it
to
in.
agree, I'm just.
yeah, somebody should call it in. We didn't know anything about it.
You leave here tonight if you have a chance. You'll see it.
I'll go look at it tomorrow, Dave, I'm not gonna look at it in the dark.
But since this is an issue, with all due respect, I think what you ought to do is if you grant the permit tonight, I think you ought to also send them a letter saying it was confirmed, the permit was granted. However, they are not to use the township's right-of-way, AKA township drainage ditch,
For
to
a landing
load
point.
whatever, okay?
Okay.
For a log yard.
Yep.
What we do elsewhere, we have, I don't know what you do here, but we have like driveway. They want to access that, sometimes you issue a driveway permit, because they will put debris on the road. And we have that situation, then you have mud, you have stone, which causes a traffic hazard. Okay, so you may want to tell about that also.
All right, how are we proceeding then?
You're making motions.
Have these guys started yet? They're wanting to get going.
They're
I
one.
guess you want them to get going what? Well, it's not frozen now, but.
Yeah,
Well,
I don't have to say
What he
that.
wants to do is he wants to go from Grimes Road, then he's gonna go to Ely, and then,
I move we
So those
approve
logs
these.
on Ely currently not associated with this guy, or
We don't know.
I
is this a separate logger?
no, it's the same logger, he's got
I
three
move that
contracts.
we
You
approve
got
this,
multiple kids with
subject to
trucks.
this adding
Oh.
this, sending them this note telling them that they can't use our right of way or our
Alright.
ditch line.
This guy on Ely's using horses.
Well, I don't care,
I'm just
yeah, it's
saying.
like, he can't keep him in the ditch.
That's
Yeah.
what he's saying.
So, Mr.
Okay, so we got a motion,
Hold on.
Mr. Teaguard made a motion to grant it subject to submitting a letter to whoever
For the one on Ely Road.
it is, not to use the township right-of-way and/or stormwater drainage. Is that your motion, Mr.
I
Teaguard?
remember.
got a second?
I second that. Dave, is that above Lee's?
Right there on the bend where Babbitt used to live.
Yeah, there's a second.
Okay,
That one up
we got a
there,
motion, we got a motion and
Next
a,
house that sits down,
Okay.
right around the bend.
we got a motion and a second. I think we've discussed it at length.
Mm-hmm.
How do you vote?
Doug,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
I vote yes. Ed,
I have that best friend number.
Ed,
Yeah. Okay, number 8, we had a question last meeting, I think, on the, having 3 signatures on the checks.
yes, JD had asked about the bank fee. JD, I did check into that for you. I talked to Earl, the bank does not charge extra for the signature. Actually, the bank does not even look to see if there are signatures on the check. So, their only time that they would look at a check is if there's a dispute. So they don't even look at the checks. They don't even view them. They just cash them.
That's putting the card after the words in it.
There's been checks gone to that bank with no signature and they cash them. So they don't even look at them. They just let them go. So that was what I got from him. Wanted you to know.
Okay,
Go ahead.
9, correction to the treasurer's / secretary's pay. At the reorganizational meeting, we got bad information on, and then we gave her a raise based on that bad information, so we're gonna correct it from, what? 1390 to 1490, is that right?
Yeah, it was stated before and we weren't given the right amount. So she's actually making $14.90 is what she was
She's-
making.
Not currently,
That's what she was
making,
making.
and then we gave her a raise.
We
on
gave her
top.
the raise based on the $13.90,
Okay.
so.
So she's getting another raise tonight.
Yes.
Yes. She's already,
Her final pay will be $16.09 then.
yeah.
Yes, it would be
Which
six
is,
instead
which for a
of,
township secretary is still under the,
Yeah, I got that chart here.
yeah. So I'm okay with
Okay,
that.
so that was, we don't know action, we don't have to take any action there, or do we have to
Yeah,
approve that?
you do. Somebody
Yeah, you can take, yeah.
so I
We're giving her
make a
raise.
motion that we correct her pay retroactive back to,
Beginning of the year.
retroactive back to beginning of the year.
So you're making a motion to grant her a pay raise of what?
Pay raise to
You're making a motion to raise her pay to what?
to 1609,
So the motion is to raise the secretary, is that her position?
secretary treasurer,
Treasurer.
Secretary treasurer's pay rate to what?
$16.09,
$16.09 retroactive to
retroactive to
January 2nd.
January 2nd, yes. That's my motion.
I second the motion.
How do you vote?
Doug,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
I vote yes.
I
Ed?
believe I voted no last time, so I'm voting no again.
Okay.
8% raise is a big raise.
Okay, moving on.
Fire marshal ordinance has some inconsistencies with the state UCC statutes and the new fireworks law.
We did have a talk with Eric, it was a good talk,
Who's we?
me and Mike, and,
I remember I stated at the meeting, I said I would go talk to her.
yeah, and Eric
And-
called, and I was able to go at the same time. What we talked about was, we talked about the fire department, but we also talked about the fire marshal ordinance. The ordinance in there states that he can review, that the fire marshal can review and inspect plans, However, I've spent lengthy conversations with Ron Engler, he is our state DCO. The problem that we have with that is that according to state law, nobody can inspect building plans except for certified building type inspectors that have all the certifications. There are 3 fire certification safety that Eric would need for that position, which he's willing to get the one, which he said, you said you found out the one is
Very expensive.
very expensive. So in order for him to actually do that, he would actually legally need those certifications. The other part of it is the fireworks law has changed as of October the 25th. And it says that he grants local it's the display of fireworks. With that law changing, there are no more permits. The only permits that there are display. It is a display of display fireworks. So you have to have a license from the ATF, and he would grant those. However, we do not have an ordinance or any fees for that type of permitting. He would just be the grantor but the way it's written.
I
it's
thought
not written.
our ordinance says it grants whatever permits are issued by that are enumerated in the second-class township code.
Yes, the second-class
And
township.
if the state law has changed, that.
Yes, it just changed.
As I said, if it has, it eliminates that, then it doesn't exist.
Right, the state
Now
law,
it's a free-for-all.
and I'll be honest, that state law changed with the budget. It raised my fee from 5
I
to
saw
10
that,
grand.
I read the comments.
So, from 5 to 10 grand.
And I have a concern with
We talked
with
about
the
it.
way the law's changed, and I haven't read the whole thing yet, I have a copy of it. But to my understanding, without the permits for consumer fireworks, that it's just a free-for-all. My neighbor can be letting them off, and they could be landing on top of my house.
Yep,
I have an issue with that.
I do
You know,
too.
we went
I do.
with the
Well,
permits,
then
and
you
we have
go over and
nothing.
knock on your neighbor's door, right?
Well, yeah,
Well, the point being-
but that may not stop my house from
Point
catching on fire.
being, we either need to add something in our ordinance to put those
Yeah,
steps
we
in,
need setbacks so
or,
that we can do
or
that.
remove it altogether, that's.
The question is can the township
Supersede.
develop an ordinance that requires distances for consumer fireworks if the state law doesn't require, it doesn't say they're exempt from permits, all it says is permits will be issued for display
Display.
fireworks.
Yeah.
There's no wording in there for consumer fireworks.
No.
Yeah,
So,
there's some, but it's not, they actually define consumer and they define display, and then they also, there's one that they've undefined, they've turned it's called it's a sparkling device, it's not considered consumer.
Deregulated.
Yeah, it's a deregulated, so, but the issue that we have is all this is in the fire marshal ordinance. So with sections of it not being according to law and that, do we repeal the whole thing? Do we write it, do we rewrite it? Do we repeal it and rewrite 2 ordinances? How do we do that? Because until he gets the certifications for him to review plans, that puts us at a liability issue as a township.
I think what we have to do is take a look at and I'm not as familiar with fireworks, firework laws as you may be, or you may be, but why don't we do this? Why don't fireworks aren't, we've got another couple months to get this situated. If you want, make a motion to authorize my office to review the current law, review the fire marshal ordinance, and maybe prepare something for, February's meeting, to make sure, because keep in mind one thing, you know as well as I do. The state law normally preempts local jurisdiction unless there's a
That's our
caveat,
concern.
okay?
Now, my concern would be too with the inspection of the buildings, of commercial buildings.
Can we do what we did to Bob and just suspend the fire marshal for now?
Well, we
Well, there's-
need to give him the authorization to look at it though, because that's out of our realm.
there's other parts of that too that
That
can
are
still be
good.
in effect, yeah.
I say basically, authorize my office to look at it. We'll look at it, keep it intact, what's currently still enforceable, because I think there's what they call a severability clause. There should be a severability clause in the ordinance itself. And saying basically that if there's any provision that's you know, no longer legal, the rest of it still stands up. Okay. I don't know, it should be in there, and we can fix everything up. Very end of the ordinance, it's called severability.
You don't look at it now.
I'm not even comfortable with the way they got that.
I think it's a severability
Not at
clause.
all.
No, there's not.
There's
So
no-
that's-
You always put a severability clause in an ordinance. That way, in case everything's thing, let's just, it should have been a severability clause. Let's keep looking, let's enforce what we can enforce, and we'll go from there, okay?
So
And I'll have something for next meeting.
we need to,
Take a motion to authorize, you know, me or my office to review the ordinance and come back with something that, and I'll be in touch with Mr. Graham, and we'll go from there.
okay, I make a motion that we let the solicitor look into the fireworks law and so we can proceed forward. Is that good enough?
That's good.
I thought we were looking at the fire ordinance.
Fire marshal ordinance, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I know what you're talking about.
Got a second?
I'll second it.
Tammy,
How do you vote?
One L in
You got a question?
He has a question. What, go ahead.
so there's
He
one
said
L
there's
in
one L in
fire
fire marshals.
I'm sorry.
So,
marshal. That's all right.
I was typing.
The sign on my door at work has 2 L's in it.
I asked for questions, not editing. Okay, so are we
Ready to
voting?
vote?
How do you vote?
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes, with one Y.
Yes.
yes with 2 M's.
Yeah. Okay, planning commission vacancies and expired appointments.
Okay. Alright, Doug had asked me to pull, right here. There it is. There's the report from last year. We had issues talking about who was where and what. So the planning commission put out a report last year that they required, and at the end of the report, it goes through the terms, and it was,
What do you, tell me what you have on, this is the one the solicitor put together, back last spring.
this is the one that I believe
That may have,
Jerry took.
She just left.
Okay, so, Mike Curtis resigned on January 9th,
this must have
2017.
this came, okay. He resigned 1/9/17, is that what you said?
Yes,
Yes, what this says.
yes,
He was through 2014.
yes, through
Okay.
2014, yes,
That's the same.
okay, what's your next?
No, what's
What's
your
your,
name?
okay, go ahead, well, here, I'll go down, and
Okay,
then Jerry's Wicker,
yeah.
she's on from 2017 to 2020.
Well, it expired through 2012. I don't have a reappointment.
That was done in 17, from what I understand,
Well, there've been 4-year appointments for planning commission,
yeah, from what yeah, it was.
if there is an appointment.
But yeah, and then I have Keith Small was
Okay, I have-
2015 through
I
2018.
mean, this says through 2014.
Yeah, he was. And then we have, so then we had, there was
You have Tony Pasquarello.
Tony. He was from 2017 to 2020.
Okay, the only thing you have on here is
He was
appointed
appointed
6/12/13.
6/12/13, yeah. And then, so then what happened was, let's see, so then Kathy Gilmore was appointed on January 23rd.
She's not on this one.
Okay,
She
and
came
she
after that.
filled Mike Curtis's term, and that was voted on at a meeting. I have that here. And then Robert Morgan was appointed on
Ted, you gonna call him in the morning?
July
thank you.
13, 2016. His term goes from 16 to 19. Jody was appointed on July 13, 2016 to 2019.
Okay, but when these ones that are appointed now, if, I don't know what the ordinance that created the planning commission calls for, but I think they're 4-year terms, or until otherwise,
Aren't they all
Replaced.
appointed?
until they're replaced. They're 4-year terms until they're replaced. I think it's 4 years, that's not the ordinance. And, but you have in here when they were appointed, but you have to find out what portion of the term that they were filling of the predecessor.
That's what,
Well,
yeah,
that's what
that's
this
what,
is.
that's what it's saying.
If you have the
So
resignation date, then you
Jody
would
was
know.
appointed,
Well,
right, and
you might
then,
have.
and then Tony, he passed away March 16th, and you guys appointed Jeff to that position.
We don't know when then.
Keith resigned on 2/9/17, and you appointed,
He said, yeah, he said, that Heath was, his term was through 2014, is what this says.
well, I have this report that the planning commission gave to the board of supervisors, and you guys had it before, so that's where I got it.
Well, I just know this is the one that the solicitor put together.
Yeah, we know,
When
we
they
had
were-
this argument last month. I make a motion that we repeal the planning commission ordinance.
What was the motion?
To repeal the planning commission ordinance.
So you're making a motion to repeal the planning commission ordinance?
I'll second it.
And now that's open for discussion,
Go ahead.
and you repeal I'm assuming you're talking about the ordinance that created the planning commission.
Yes.
Does that get repealed in the normal fashion, or does it require repeal in accordance with the MPC?
I think you need an ordinance to authorize the solicitor to draft the ordinance to repeal it.
Okay. Then how are we going to implement the land subdivision ordinance? What is your plan to, Kathy, what's your plan to,
We can be our own planning agency.
so you plan on forming your own planning agency?
The supervisors can do it.
You seemed to have a problem with that the last time that was done, but go ahead.
But you did it while the two exist, you can't, they cannot
You didn't
exist at
repeal
the
the
same
ordinance.
time.
There's nothing that says that they can't coexist.
Yeah, we went to court over this.
And we didn't agree to that.
You dropped yourselves at the planning committee, so yes. So we
You
can
have a
repeal the
committee
planning
and a planning
commission.
If their duties are defined. The issue was whether or not there had to be an ordinance to create the planning commission.
I
That was
made
it.
a motion.
And I'm asking questions, which I'm permitted to do.
We can create our own planning agency, correct?
What we did one time, one of the municipalities represented, they abolished the planning commission by adopting an ordinance abolishing the planning commission. So you'd have to make a motion to do that, and then the ordinance would provide basically, and I did this probably about 10, 15 years ago. I mean, I'd have to check the law, but you just can't, you have an ordinance that creates a planning commission. And in some places suspend it and so forth, try and save money. But I think if you're gonna do it the right way, you need to abolish it by ordinance.
Okay.
Can we abolish it because I have a question, now. Is there a reason that we can abolish it due to the fact that they've put us in a liability issue of a legal stance?
How they put you in a liability issue, legal stance?
The planning commission sent a registered letter to a company stating that they were in receipt of their building application, that they were reviewing their plans, and according to the state BCO, it is illegal for them to even to review those. Therefore, it puts us in a liability that company could come back against the township.
Which company is that? Could you elaborate?
No,
Is it the company you own?
sure.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I'm sorry, if I
It's,
can.
what it is the fact that state law says that only individuals that hold the certifications have the right to view the plans, view and inspect
You're
plans.
talking about BCO.
A BCO, that is
Okay.
correct. However, though, we have a registered letter stating that they were in receipt of our building permit and plans to review.
And the planning commission sent that to who?
Planning commission sent that to the president of the company.
Well, I mean, that seems to be a private issue.
Well, it is, but I'm just saying
Darren.
that it's put it into a,
I just have a question. With what you said, that would only happen if it was us. So that would never work for anybody else in the township, so it doesn't matter
no,
what.
it does work, because if they
Well, they're not
look
gonna
at
pick on
plans.
anybody else, so just
Well,
really, I don't think that you can
Okay,
do that.
okay, yeah.
Here's,
I mean, it would never bring it up over
Also,
scrutiny.
if that's the case, okay, and, you know, as having been present at some of those, that there were issues brought up, and I don't believe that anything that happened with that company was ever actually denied.
Was
That
what?
they went ahead and had done their building and everything.
Everything was done legally.
Yeah.
It was the time frame that was held up. That's
I'm
what
just
she's-
saying
but
that
she's
it's
not
kind of
understanding.
Nothing was held up.
Yeah, it's kind of a moot point.
No, there was a lot of holdups.
Okay, well,
Okay,
The
anybody
reality
else?
was I had to wait. and
I
wanted to
got
go
a
ahead
very
with it.
important question. There was a stipulation signed in court between the township and the Freedom Group that this issue of the zoning ordinance will be passed back to the planning commission for review. That's where it is. And that's why this group, is my guess, why this group would like to do away with the planning commission, it's not the Freedom Group.
We've made no secret of that.
Well, I'm just trying to get a clear picture of what
I'll give you
was
the clear
happening.
picture. I ran because I was against zoning.
That's fine.
I'm sitting here today because I was.
Now, you were
against
sitting here
zoning.
because you spread a lot of falsehoods.
No, I wouldn't.
okay, that's,
Now, I'm gonna tell you something, Doug.
Let's not be-
Don't call me a liar.
I didn't say you were a liar.
What is a falsehood then?
Your view or your slant of whatever it is.
That's not a falsehood, that's my view.
Well, that's, you call it what you like and I'll call it what I like.
No, you ain't gonna call me a
I
liar.
will say what I said and you can like it or don't like
Hey,
it.
guys, okay, let's, why don't we do this?
No, we got a motion and a second on the table.
And I've got questions.
How do
I
you
haven't
vote?
answered. No, you can't.
I'm calling for a vote.
I have, and I'm asking a
You call
question.
for the vote, go
I
ahead.
called for a vote.
That's fine.
How do you vote?
Absolutely not. I'd
Kathy,
like to have it entered upon the minutes that I have made the point that the court had instructed this to go back to the planning commission, and your guys are trying to short circuit the planning commission. And let it be known, that's the reason, let's just move on.
How do you vote?
Kathy,
Yes.
You make the vote, then. You have to say that.
Mike,
Can I abstain from the vote because I'd like legal counsel before voting? I'm not sure what I'm voting on and I'm not sure.
Well, the motion was to authorize, to abolish the ordinance, but
Abolish the planning commission.
well, the ordinance creating the planning commission.
But I'm not sure we're going about it correctly, that's why I'm asking.
Well, I think you need to go through a procedure. And I, like I said, you know, what I've always done is I follow the purview of Judge Bell. We follow the law, we don't deviate at all. I think the appropriate motion would be, a motion to authorize the solicitor to review the documentation, to see what's going on, and to make sure that there's no issues involved with anything, okay? That would be the appropriate motion. So I suggest I would withdraw that motion, and authorize the solicitor to review it and come up and to direct you by next February's meeting, and table any appointments to any planning commission at this time.
Ed, you have to withdraw your second then.
Dennis, I have a question.
1 second.
Wait, he has to,
Did she withdraw her motion?
you have to withdraw
You
your
have-
second first.
Oh.
Then she withdraws her motion, correct?
Correct. He goes first, then I.
Okay, I'll withdraw my second.
I'll withdraw my motion.
So why don't you make a motion to authorize the solicitor to review the
Planning commission.
planning commission?
I'll do you one better.
With the intent,
I'll do you one better. I will make a motion that we authorize a solicitor to advertise that we are going to repeal the planning commission ordinance.
Because that's his motion.
Is that? I'm sorry,
Does anybody have a copy of the court order from the judge?
I'm.
it was what we agreed to.
Okay,
And technically, now we are Donegal Township supervisors.
yeah, I understand how that works.
It's called voting.
Technically, you
That's
are.
right,
You
so-
can't find
so
any-
you can repeal-
It doesn't matter.
Also, it made no
I'm-
difference is what you're saying and what we agreed to.
Yeah.
I
I want
advertise
planning
the
commission to review
solicitor.
it.
Wait a minute, no, wait a minute. That's not what I'm saying. Don't put words in my mouth.
I'm asking you.
I'm saying basically you can't, Lobolito is a case,
That we
you
are
can't
going
find
to
a way into the
repeal
future
the-
board. There's a number of
the
court cases that
ordinance
say that.
I understand that.
And basically, the new board, the
Created the
question is,
planning
whatever I
commission.
do, I want to make sure the townships in safe hands. So what I
That's
suggest
right.
we do is make a motion or authorize the solicitor to review this matter in terms of possible termination or abolishment of the planning commission, and to see, and to review that with the court order. Okay? That's
I'm only
reasonable.
voting for that, is all
What's
I'm
that?
telling you.
Is that your motion? Is there a vote? What motion?
I made the motion that we authorize the solicitor to advertise the repeal of, that's part of the process. You have to advertise if you're gonna repeal, right?
You have to advertise in order to repeal that ordinance.
But
In
he
order
needs
to
to, he
repeal it.
needs to do it first, Ed, that's my opinion. He
You
need,
have to have an ordinance first before you can make a motion to advertise. We don't have an ordinance to in order to repeal an ordinance, you have to make a motion to advertise an ordinance that's before you right now. That's the.
Say it again?
You need to make you have to have the ordinance in front of you to advertise to repeal something like that.
he has to come up with
Okay.
the ordinance to repeal before you can do the process. You're going a step ahead.
Oh, okay. All right, so I'll make a motion that we have him draft an ordinance?
Draft an ordinance and review the appropriate law regarding the repeal thereof. That's your motion.
To repeal,
That repeals the
to
planning.
repeal the
commission.
planning commission.
Okay, that's your motion.
Say that again.
A motion to authorize the solicitor to review the law
Draft an
and
ordinance
draft an ordinance to
to
repeal the
repeal the
planning
planning
commission.
commission. Got a motion? Do we have a second?
Second.
Discussion?
I have a
Yeah.
question.
Yeah.
Discussion,
When does that show that my term expires?
On this one, it said 2018.
2018.
No, wait a minute.
That's 2017.
Hold on, I'm sorry, 2017.
Mine expired
That's what
2017.
it says on here.
Filling of Ed
You-
stuff,
You
filled
were
Ed.
filling Ed
Yeah.
Stouts,
Sure.
which was 3/9 of 16, which was, so it would have been from 2014 to 2017.
How many members do we have in good standing right now then?
5.
Would be 5, would be. wait a
All
minute.
in good standing.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
Or they